Kyle Larson's late model show is coming up tonight, and I've got everything you need to know, plus what's going on with Race Monitor. Let's go. It's Thursday, April 6th. I'm Justin Fiedler. This is Dirt Tracker Daily. If you're a user of timing and scoring apps around dirt racing, you may have noticed some changes in recent weeks and recent months. Even within the last few days, there's been some chatter on social media, and we've seen posts from drivers like Danny Dietrich and Cale Thomas, plus crew members and other fans wanting to know why certain things are on one app and not another. And the two big players we're obviously talking about here are Race Monitor and MyRacePass. For years, a lot of the dirt races could be found on the Race Monitor app, and it became fairly ubiquitous around dirt tracks to see the app open on phones in the pit area and in the grandstands. Race Monitor isn't just for dirt racing, though, and at this moment, they have live upcoming coverage of action at places like Langley Speedway and Laguna Seca, the Thermal Club. They've got tracks down under, VIR, there's karting, there's a ton of stuff on Race Monitor. The app is free to download, but you'll need a paid subscription for the live stuff. And the subscription just got a tick more expensive, although $6.99 for the entire year, that's not bad. Recently, though, a lot of stuff has been moved over to MyRacePass, with the notable series being the World of Outlaws and other World Racing Group-owned properties like the Summer Nationals and Super Dirt Car Series. If you want to get live timing on the MRP app, it will set you back $7.99 for the year. WRG officially swapped to MRP for the 2022 season, although they were still pushing data to Race Monitor all the way up to Dirt Car Nationals this year. But at this moment, that's no longer the case. WRG-owned series are now exclusively on the MRP app, and race results you find at worldofoutlaws.com and elsewhere kind of in that universe are actually coming through the MyRacePass API. Besides live timing and scoring, if you weren't aware, MRP also offers full-on race management solutions for timing and scoring, results, keeping track of points, generating race night lineups, and more. And a lot of your favorite series use this platform. If you're curious about learning more about MyRacePass, I actually did an interview with Josh Holt a few years ago, and we discussed a lot of this stuff. I'll link to it in the video description below. So if you're curious about what's changed, it's really a couple of things. In this current day and age, data is a big deal, and it was something that was talked about and being discussed when I worked at WRG years ago. Pushing to Race Monitor is fine, but how can the series find better ways to display and capture and share those results for both the fans and competitors? Race Monitor hasn't really changed much, and MRP came around offering more options, while the series could still own their own data. So that's definitely one part of it. The other, though, and probably much larger factor is Race Monitor's ownership. Race Monitor was started by Mike Weatherman and Mark Lubisher, and its parent company is Karting Coach Inc., which was started in 2008. In 2022, though, Karting Coach Inc. and underneath it also Race Monitor were acquired by the folks at Flow Racing. A filing with the Colorado Secretary of State's office from November shows a statement of merger for Karting Coach Inc., with the other entity involved being DirtOnDirt.com LLC. And obviously, DoD was acquired a few years ago by Flow. And with the current nature of competition between Flow and Dirt Vision, which is owned by WRG, it wasn't going to be long before that started to get around, and WRG-owned properties were going to disappear from Race Monitor. And that's where we are right now. I don't know what the future plans are for Race Monitor from the Flow side, and I have reached out to them with questions. As of right now, nothing has changed with the Race Monitor website or app, but I wouldn't be surprised to see more Flow integration in the future. I also wouldn't hold out hope that certain series are going to return to Race Monitor regardless of how much drivers and fans tweet about it. So if you're headed to a racetrack this year and want live results on your phone, just make sure you have the correct app. Tonight is Kyle Larson's late model race at Volunteer Speedway, 50 laps, $20,000 to win, and the entry list is star-studded. The track is in Bulls Gap, Tennessee. It sits right about an hour southwest of Bristol Motor Speedway. It's a straight shot down Interstate 81. This is the second time this race is being held, and a year ago it was Mike Marlar leading all 50 laps for the win. Besides Larson being in attendance in the Rumley 6, fellow NASCAR drivers Kyle Busch and Chase Briscoe are coming to race as well. Busch has partnered with Brandon Overton and Wells Motorsports to drive a second entry there, and Briscoe will be in a car owned by Kyle Strickler. From there, you're going to get a who's who of dirt late model stars, including Overton and Jonathan Davenport, who's fresh off that MLRA win last week, Chris Madden, Jimmy Owens, Ricky Thornton Jr., Dale McDowell, Devin Moran, Ross Bales, Corey Hedgecock, and more. This race is unsanctioned, so there's nothing to race for outside of just that cold, hard cash. Volunteer is a fun track too. 4/10 mile, big ol' high banks. It's a good one. And if you missed it too, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was actually there yesterday hanging out with Vic Hill and supporting Josh Berry as he made some laps in a late model to get up to speed for the Cup race at Bristol this weekend. Grandstands open today at 3 p.m. Eastern. Cars will be on track around 6:30. If you're around Bristol this week for the NASCAR stuff, I definitely head down there. If not, though, Flow Racing will have live coverage. Just a side note here, too. I've tweeted about this a few times now in recent weeks. But guys, if you don't already have it set up, you need to get two-factor authentication going on your social media accounts. We've seen a bunch of dirt racing accounts hacked in the last year, and some recent victims include the Short Track Super Series and Brad Sweet. Go into the App Store on your phone, get an authenticator app. There's one from Google, there's one from Microsoft. Follow the instructions, link your various accounts. You can do this with Twitter, you can do this with Facebook, and you can use the same app for all of them. You don't need apps specifically for each one. And Twitter and Facebook have removed other authentication apps here recently. For example, Twitter used to be able to use your phone number and get a text message. You can't do that anymore unless you're subscribed to Blue, but you can use an authenticator app for free. Your password is not enough these days. That's not super difficult to write code to brute force a hack. If you work for a series, if you're a media outlet, if you're a racer, a track, or even just a lowly race fan like me, do it. It will save you a bunch of future headache. You can also Google instructions on how to get the authenticator set up if you don't know how, but please do this today. A couple of other notes for you today. First, the MLRA late models have canceled their upcoming weekend at Tri-City Speedway because of saturated grounds and rain. The event will not be made up, but the series will be back at Tri-City later this year. They've got races scheduled for October 13th and 14th. The next shows on the slate for the MLRA are April 13th at Davenport and April 14th and 15th at 34 Raceway. Also, just this morning, Selinsgrove Speedway announced they are canceling their next 2 weekends of racing as they work through resolving a, quote, massive water leak at the facility. They will use the off time to fix the problem, and they also mentioned infrastructure improvements to hopefully avoid situations like this in the future. The next time we'll see racing at Selinsgrove is April 21st through the 23rd. There are 4 shows on today's streaming schedule. Like I said, Flow Racing has the Kyle Larson late model race plus Flow Racing 24/7. Pay-per-view has a racing overnight from Bunbury Speedway, and there is Dirt Vision now. To see the full daily streaming schedule with links to watch, visit dirttracker.com/watch tonight. Hope you guys have a good Thursday out there. We'll be right back here tomorrow for more Dirt Tracker Daily.